Hello, this is MAB, Joey. That's Robert. So just waiting for everybody to get online. This is the weekly live stream. Cynthia, it's nice to see you again. Hello. It's great I know some of the people already from online. Yeah, this is the beginning of the show. Hey, Denny, how are you? Love your collection. I say that every week, but it's true. We have to compare guitars again. Ethan, hello. I'd like to say hello to Tanya. Hello. I have to pronounce your name. Hey, Brett, how are you? It's great to see you. Let's see. There's Alexis. I think I said Tanya. Roxana, hello. Hey, Jamie, how are you? Yes, I see Alexis. Let's see who else. Roxana, yes. Hey, Philip, how are you? Philip is a great guitarist, and he's got quite a story to tell. Anyway, so we're getting a lot of people online here. Good night to you, Roxana, too. Yeah, Denny, pretty amazing collection. Hopefully I'll be on the East Coast touring again. Hey, Alexis, how are you? Bobby, how are you doing? Okay, we've got a lot of people coming online. Then I'll start the show. Okay, let's start to shred here. Now I'm using a Sawtooth ES relic. Hey, Jason, I'm in Colorado. Colorado's a great place. Let's see, Brett doing well. Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you too. Anyway, this is the ES relic. And Sawtooth, again, came up with something really cool and really new. A lot of times, these relic guitars are thousands of dollars, and they relic everything. And I talked about this before, but it's like, there's no way I would go on tour with a high-end relic guitar. And it's not that they don't play really great, but they relic the parts, meaning they relic the trim, they relic the pickups. And when you say relic, what it means is, in guitar vernacular, it means to make it look old. And so, when they call it a relic, a relic is something old, and it's valuable, the intrinsic value, what its value, what the value is to you. And so anyway, a lot of these relics are made by guitar luthiers and, master builders, and they cost thousands of dollars, but they destroy the hardware. They'll put acid on it. They'll make the volume and tone controls like burnt to a crisp. And so when you're on tour, if you need to replace a part, or if you're just playing the guitar all the time and something screws up because, you put acid on something, call me crazy, call me insane, but you're going to mess with the structural integrity of the instrument. And so it's not going to be as bad as if you had a piece that's shiny and nice and new. And so what we do is we relic the bodies, we relic the necks. They're just great. Look at this, how cool that is. And we leave the parts new. And so I've always wanted to do this. People thought I was crazy. Sawtooth didn't think I was crazy. And here's the cool thing. They can relic these. So a lot of times it takes a person, to slam it, and then they, beat it up, and then they charge you $5,000 for it. Sawtooth's not known for that. We have exceptional guitars for exceptional value, and so you can get these relics for far cheaper, and the parts are new. That's the cool thing about this. It's relic to the max, but it's kind of like driving an old Vet or an old car. You're not going to use an old tailpipe or an old carburetor. You got to put some new parts in to make it run correctly. And so that's what Sawtooth did. No other company's doing this, and you can't beat the price. No guitar company on planet Earth can beat the value and quality for the price. They just can't do it. And that's why Sawtooth's doing so well right now. And they're going to continue. But these relics are really cool. It's called the ES relic, and this one's in blue. I have another one in green there. They're just amazing guitars. They sound great. One of my favorite keys, E flat. moved up to E. But it's got that real stratty sound, that single coil. And then, you know, the 5 positions. Just got a vicious sound, vicious. And I'm playing through the 40-watt tube amp. This is one that I co-designed with the people from Sawtooth. Sounds amazing. But anyway, I love this ES series. Now watch. That's the clean channel of the 40-watt. Now I have some delay going through it. That's my signature delay pedal. And I put a little compression on it. It just sounds great. Now, we're going to talk today about understanding and using modes for soloing. Now, one thing that I wanted to continue on from last week, because, you know, kind of what I started to think about with all these live streams, I've been doing this for a year already. Yes, it's been a year and I'm still not the star. It's me, Joey. Now listen, I'm really mad at you, Angelo. Now here's what's going on. You said you wrote it Joey. It ain't Joey, it's Joey. I am the shred god. I am the rapper shredder. Here's what I'm gonna say. My name is Joey and I'm a shred god. Shred god, all my people from the front to the back nod, back nod. My name is and I'm a shred god. Shred god, all my people from the front to the back nod, back nod. They say I shred like a robot. Call me a shred bot, shred bot. My name is Joey. I'm a shred god, shred god. Take that, Angelo. I'm the show. It is me. Me, Joey, 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 Joey. Who do you want to see? Enough! I'm glad he doesn't drive. It's a good thing I'm ambidextrous because Robert does the driving. If Joey drove, he'd be like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you all. If he had a gun in his hand, there would be death, mayhem, destruction. Like vegan death metal. Now, speaking of vegan death metal, I've been working on a song. I've been working on broccoli. It's very close to my heart. Broccoli is good for me. Cauliflower is the veggie of the hour. It's pretty easy to rhyme this stuff. Yes, Joey is a rapper, but Joey is a shred bot. Now, the thing about Joey that's crazy is he wants to do different things all the time. So he's a rapper this week. Next week, you don't know what he wants to be. You know, he studies. That's right, Angelo. I'm the star. And now people say, well, dude, man, you ain't no ventriloquist. I ain't no ventriloquist. See? It's Joey. He doesn't have a mouth. He's a hand. So he talks through me. So he doesn't need a mouth because he controls the brain sometimes. So I'm in constant fighting. Now, let's get back to the modes. The only mode I like is apple pie a la mode. Shut up. Okay, so here's what I can tell you about modes. I wanted to move back to last week, and what I was trying to say is that I want to kind of make these lessons now, after doing this for literally over a year, to make them more continuous. Yeah, somebody said, yeah, I better get out of the house. I like my house. It's a very nice house. Lots of guitars. Metal is madness. Joey loves to do that. See, but if you do this, It means I love you, I love you. So we don't want to do that. But see, Joey was talking to me the other day about being an opera singer too. And I was thinking about that going, what are you talking about? And here's what he said. It isn't fair for you to turn to me. I'm like, are you out of your mind? He sounds like the lion from The Wizard of Oz. And so, anyway, getting back to these modes. The Locrian mode is really ugly. And so it starts on the 7th degree of the scale. So when you think, and see, one of the things that will really help, tribute to Randy, you can go to my YouTube page and see that. You know, a lot of people say tribute to Randy or this. Go to my YouTube page, watch a video, and also, do I clean all those guitars? I actually do. Hey, Al Bain. Al Bain made my deadly leather jacket, and has made a lot of guitar straps for me. We've been good friends for a long time. Anyway, so what I was saying is this, that one of the things, the best way to just have a basic knowledge of modes and of scales is just think of the major scale and the French, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. This is ingrained in our head. Do, 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 do. Now, if you use our harmony, again, is called tertian harmony. Tertian harmony means harmony by thirds. 2 plus 2 is metal 4 minus metal 1. That's the way I count. It's like an abacus, only metal. And so what happens is that when you stack a third, for example, if you take a scale, there is a certain series of whole steps and half steps. Happy, 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 happy. I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. That's what a major scale sounds like. It's the happy scale. And so when you have this scale, when you just stack, you go 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. This is the series of chords that you get. Now, a triad, like a tricycle, is 3. 2 plus 2 is metal 4 minus metal 1. A triad is 3 tones. When you add an octave or 4 or more, it is a chord. And so that's, you know, and again, you know, in this day and age, we're blurring the lines between what was taught, you know, theoretically and you know, just kind of changing the rules today. And you know, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it creates a lot of gray areas in people's thinking because they really don't quite understand it. Whereas when I grew up and I studied music, it was black and white. It was like, this is the way it is, this is the way it isn't. And then, you know, then you make up your own mind, you know, because like I keep talking, the synthetic modes, synthetic scale. I want to do the scale of death. I don't even need to, I can use quarter tones. I can pick notes between our notes. Like in my song, Voices of the Distant Past, which I renamed Lucid Intervals. It's really a great song, and then I dropped D, but I went. It's so killer. But anyway, the point is that you can make up anything nowadays and call it a scale. Yes, not the devil's mode. Yeah, you could call it the devil's mode. See, but you could be vegan death metal and say, broccoli all comes down to, there is a soy product called seitan. So when I do broccoli, it all comes down to seitan. Seitan. I'm sure Stripo will hate me for that, but Satan is not Satan. Satan is tofu. Oh, tofu. Don't you know tofu is Satan? So, why am I saying all this? Because I'm insane right now because Joey wants to be an opera singer. He said, you know, rapping is boring for him because he's the shred god, and now he's a shred bot. So he always thinks of something new all the time that he should be. So I have to focus on who exactly I am so I don't get lost in this sea of other people. Now, when you think of these modes, and the reason I pointed out Locrian is just ugly. I mean, the first chord of the Locrian mode is diminished. Oh my God! You just screwed up big, bro! Big! Just not cool. It just sounds weird. And I also said I wrote a Locrian mode riff in my song Rainforest. Then I moved it an octave. You know, it's a lot of cool Al Di Meola style alternate picking. But what the problem is with the Locrian mode is that it can pass as a minor sounding, not scale, but minor tonality. And what I mean by that is just the first chord has a minor third, but the problem is the third after that is also minor, which creates diminished. And the real problem is, like I said, modes do not resolve. They don't resolve like scales. And so the fifth chord of the Locrian mode is actually a major chord. But here's the problem. It's not a dominant major chord. Here's the problem. It's I love you. I love you more than I can say. It is a major seventh. That's a very... I have intense feelings for you. I feel something I've never felt before. Ooh, baby, I dig your love. And so the fifth chord of that Locrian mode is still not a dominant chord, even though it's a major chord. And so what happens is that it still follows the same idea that modal sounds do not resolve. A resolution is this. It resolves. You can hear the resolution. This dominant chord. Or, what did I do in No Boundaries? I went, yeah, Barry White. But I have a new name for Barry White. Very white. I'm very white, baby. So anyway, when I played No Boundaries, you could hear it when I wrote it. Then I modulated. And then I went back to some modal playing. But see, the dominant chord makes the scale. Now, here is what I wanted to tell you about using modes. And again, I'm using the ES Relic. Look at this guitar up close. They beat it up really nice. And it comes from the factory like this. And so these guitars, look at that, man. It's just so cool. But the hardware is new. So if you ever need to replace a part, which, I mean, look at it. I mean, think of a car. You're going to drive it long enough, you're going to replace the part. And so when you replace that part, you can replace it with a new part. And no other company has done this, and no other company has the price point. Meaning, when we say price point, it's a music industry term just for the what it's going to sell to the customer, and so on these price points, these guitars can't be beat. They just can't. Nobody can make a guitar like this. And I've said this many weeks. It is really easy to make a high-end USA guitar. And why people say, why is it so easy, bro? Because you pay a lot of money. When you pay a lot of money, you can pay somebody really good to make that guitar. And so it's easy. If I wanted to say, bro, I got, or brodette, dude or dudette, it could be a female luthier. It doesn't matter to me. And I could say, I want I got 10 grand, man. Make me the cool guitar, dude. I want the guitar that is so rad that when people say it's rad, it's like radder than rad. It's like beyond rad. It's like so rad, I can't even think about it. It's like, don't even look at it because it's almost like biblical rad. And so the point is, anybody can do that. Oh, we have an $8,000 guitar. Great. How cool is that? It's great. I have nothing against that. That's easy to do. It's easy to make a $100,000 car if you use the very best components and you hired the best person in the world to make this car because he's going to charge you or she a lot of money. So that's not the hard part. The hard part is to make something of value that's really good. And that's where it gets tricky, and that's where Sawtooth excels. They don't make cheap guitars. They make guitars that you can afford that are really awesome. Now, I'm going to show you something here. I wrote this down. C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, C major. Listen, I am the shred god. Quit talking this stuff. It's my show. Okay, Joey, you got to cool it. Now, this is serious stuff. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, then octave. Now, when you play modally, one thing I'm going to do very soon is talk about the cage system, because the cage system is a way to identify chords, but it follows what I've gone through my whole life. A lot of guitar players don't see the neck the way I do. I see things very simply, and that's why my lessons have done so well. I explain things in a simple manner. And so, for example, a major scale. Now, the cage system would say, everything is like a first position chord. You have C, A, G, E. Okay, but you want to say, okay, we'll take that chord, now invert it. Now invert it again. Now invert it again. Now invert it again. Okay, but great. Well, how do you use all that? What they're talking really in essence is to target chord tones. And this is what's going to help you to play modally. For example, when I said major, minor, minor, this is the thing that blows people's minds. Now, I'm going to back this up a little bit so you can see. Now, it's not the most technical diagram, but Joey wouldn't let me do it because he's the star of the show. But when you see this major, minor, minor. You have to memorize that. And where they get these chords is all you do is you count thirds starting from each note of the scale. So if you start on C, C, D, E, E, F, G, then you start D, D, E, F, but D, E, F, F, G, A. So you have major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, then back to major, which is the octave. And so when you think about it like this, here's the thing it's so simple and it's so complicated. The chords in C major or the Ionian modal right here. The chords from Dorian go just like this, but they end on D. The Phrygian mode starts on E and goes straight up the ladder. When you see this major chord, just add the minor minor. Think of this in 2 octaves. So you have the Phrygian mode, E to E. The Lydian mode, F all the way to F. So in other words, this chord progression, the progression of chords, I don't mean like a chord progression of C, F, G. What I mean is the progression of chords that follows the scale. C, D, E, F, G. It never changes. It never changes. This is the one thing about music. Music is an exact science. 1 and 1 will always equal 2, always. Music is exact. Music is good. Music rocks. Music makes sense. And why do you think we can use numbers in music? Or why does that work? Because you can say that. Why does MIDI work? MIDI is a number from 0 to 127. The highest volume you can get in a MIDI note is 127. So you can move volumes up and down. You can take notes. These are numbers. You can actually turn music into numbers. You can move these numbers forwards and backwards and create feeling by using numbers. It's so bizarre. It's so abstract that a lot of people can't understand the simplicity of the basic fundamental of music, which is it is a numbers game, but it's a simple numbers game. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. That's it. Okay, so the highest letter you can go in the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. 7 notes, 7 alphabetical letters. That's it. If you can't count to 7, you got... Shut up. See what I mean? And so if you can't understand 7 notes, which everybody on planet Earth can pretty much, I think, unless you went to Amsterdam and you smoked some really good stuff, and you're sitting in a hotel room contemplating, why? What is the meaning of life? What does my existence mean? And why am I here? And what about my ancestors? We had to end like that. It's a very happy, it's a very melancholy riff. Okay, it's a major 7 chord. And so, but the point is that you can use this. Now, all this comes down to, like I said, the cage system, C, A, G, E. It's really simple. But see, the cage system has to follow some rules. And I broke down scales and positioning into 5 groups on a guitar. But a lot of people broke it down into 7. I don't see that. I understand it, but 7, it's too many. Because I'll show you 5. Watch. I just played every single note that is available on the fretboard, every single one in G major in 5 positions. Now here's the really cool thing. The cage system follows these 5 positions religiously. It follows it right up the neck. So see, a lot of teachers like, there's 7 positions, there's enough 5, Angelo's wrong. No, I'm not wrong. I am correct. I am absolutely 100% correct, but they don't see the correlation between all this stuff and bring it together in your head. And so now here's what I talk about. Let's say you want to play modally in the Dorian scale. First of all, you have to think of the chords. So you think of C major, C, D minor, E minor, F major, G major. So you go through this way, major, minor, minor. Then start on D and do the whole process. Minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major, minor, and you come up. I'm happy. It's the Santana sound. It's totally Santana. So, what do I do when I'm thinking about the Dorian mode? The first thing I think about when I do a solo is what chords are in this solo. Rule one, in order to understand soloing, you have to understand what is your chord progression. There's something called a static chord progression, which means it stays on one chord. Like for example, if I was going to use my song called Go to arms! Go to arms! Go to arms! When it's static like that, you can use a lot of things. Now, I went. I very clearly outline the chords in the Phrygian mode. I went. So the first thing that I would do is say, what are the chords? What do we have that we can use to identify whatever scale or mode it is? And so that's rule one, identify the chords. Once you do, then you can start working on the position. Now, a lot of people say, oh, Michelangelo Batio loves the Dorian mode. That is not true. I love the Dorian position. And the position is this. And the reason I like it, it falls so comfortably with your fingers. But as sure as I go like this, I could go. I could end on any note. It doesn't matter. I play modally. And that is the idea that when you're doing solos, it is a good idea to first, the best idea, outline what your chords are in the solo or what your riff is. And when you hear this riff, it's like, okay, well, what scale or mode does this riff fall under? That's rule one. Then you ask yourself, do you know the positions of the fretboard so you can play all over the neck? See, that's the one thing that I've done my whole life. I think of the fretboard as like, and positions as a GPS. Sometimes people say, purists, they say, don't use boxes. Don't use boxes, dude. Boxes box you up, bro. Well, I just don't agree with that. In order to think outside the box, you have to know what's in the box. And what is in the box are positions. And you can, it's just like learning piano. You can see all the white keys, the black keys. You can see like every octave is the same. So you can actually play octavely. You can, that's not really a word, but you can play via octaves. You can play one thing in one octave, then move it up another octave. You can play the same thing over and over. It's different octaves, but it's the same thing. And so it's almost like position playing. But musical people will find a way to make music. It's that simple. If you don't have music in you and you go like this, you're not going to make music. But if you're musical and you play a scale, or there's no music in that, but add rhythm. Just made music, because music is a combination of three things: harmony, melody, rhythm. That's it. There are only 3 parts to music. 2 plus 2 is metal 4 minus metal 1. Harmony, melody, 2 plus 2, rhythm. That is it. One of the reasons I disliked hip-hop for so long, they forgot about the harmony, they forgot about the melody, it's only rhythm. And so I used to think, okay, let's see, for thousands of years, we've used harmony, melody, and rhythm, and now we've been reduced to rhythm. Oh, wow, awesome. So we've taken 2 of the most important parts of music away. Let's take out the harmony, let's take out the melody. But then I got into death metal, and death metal, there's no melody, it's purely rhythm. And somebody heard me play Day Tripper. Got a good reason for taking the easy way out. Then you can go like this. He was a Day Tripper. Now somebody said 2x again. I saw this. Let me make sure this is all tuned up. I've got my little pedal board here. I've got an overdriver, the delay through the amp, a compressor, and then I have the channel switcher. Okay. Now, 2x again, I really wanted it to be called Time and Time Again. 2x like time, like 2 times, but everybody calls it 2x, but it really was meant time and time again, but everybody... Then modulation. Then I modulate again. And I went. But I love that song. And one of my all-time best friends, is probably my best friend in the whole world. He is Rob Ross, the drummer, played on No Boundaries. He also played the demo on 2X Again, and he programmed everything on my first album, No Boundaries. So he played on Rainforest, this song, but I love playing this song. Just the melody, like. Then I had another part, like a bridge, like. So like. Then I modulated, then it went. And then when I modulated, so I went. That modulation to me is so, I got such a feeling when I wrote that part. It was it was really amazing to me. And, you know, I also did a playthrough. You've got to go to my YouTube page because I do a lot of playthroughs on my YouTube page. You know, just look for Angelo Batio. You'll find me. There's so many videos on there, but I do a playthrough of 2X again. It's got a lot of feeling, and I played it about 98% like the album. There might be a few vibratos that are different, but it's so close to the record. But I love to compose. I mean, I've recorded and released 15 solo albums. And one of the things that I find that a lot of people, when they comment online, and I'm going to tell everybody, when you go to my pages, I don't tolerate BS. I just don't. I don't tolerate arguments. I don't like discourse. I don't like, flaming people. I don't flame people myself, and I don't want people to come to my pages to do that. There's civility here. And so, you can say what you want about me or any of my friends or anything that I do outside of my pages, but do not come here with a bad attitude, because I just block you. That's it. I don't give people second chances about this. If they don't want to, if they don't feel that my opinions or my music of value, and they just want to come and spout off stuff, fine. I don't care. It doesn't hurt me. I mean, I've got 2 brand new monitors there with a brand new computer that I'm setting up very soon. So it doesn't hurt me. But I treat this as my home, and I don't let people mess up my house. That's it. And I think that there's a level of respect, and I hope that people think that, because I give you respect, and I don't ask for it, but I don't ask to be flamed. I don't want to. If I post a picture of Bret Michaels and the haters come out, or I post an exercise and somebody goes, "That's not music." Of course it's not music, it's an exercise, you idiot. I just don't tolerate that stuff. I don't want to deal with it. Joey doesn't, he'll shoot you. And so, I don't take no bull. You want to mess with me? I'll shoot you. That's it. Joey could have trigger finger here. I'm just kidding. But I'm just goofing around. But the idea is this, and let's get back to this modal thing. To learn the notes of a major scale, and then think to yourself, just use those notes and move it forward. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. E, F, G, A, B. See, it just moves forward. And so what happens is that one is all is one when it comes to the church modes and the basic scale, the major scale. And so once you identify that and you understand that, then the rest becomes easy. Then it becomes positioning. And that's the next thing that I have to talk about. Like, how do you, like if you have a C chord here, these are called inversions. So, see, this is where that cage system is. C here, C here. Now what? Here, here. There's all these different ways to play a C chord. And when you move up or down the fretboard, they are called inversions. So you play a C chord here, and then you move it down and play another C. That is an inversion. And so there's some basic rules, but the thing about music, and I can't stress it enough, 1 and 1 always equals 2. It's so hard to grasp. Like, for example, I'm going to give you a metaphor, an analogy. Say a person has never seen a wheel, and you're trying to explain a wheel. It's so simple. A wheel. It's a round thing and a wheel. Joey's like, you don't get it? I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot you. You're just stupid. See, that's what Joey would say. I would say, how do you explain this wheel? It's so simple to people who know, but something so simple is hard to explain. And so that's where I come in. I try to explain this to you in a way that you understand, but you have to understand that the simplicity of it is there. it's hard to grasp something so simple. And I don't get inversions. They sound different. Okay, somebody who said that. Well, let me explain an inversion. The technical, when you have a note, a C note. And now I'm 2 9/2 steps, so I don't want to hear anybody, no, it's really B do. Of course we know. Okay, the position is C. Okay, 1, 3, 5. Now, how high can you go? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. So you have C, then you have C major 7th, you have C 11th, you have C 13th. And so 13 is as high as you can go. An inversion means this, that the root tone is inverted, meaning it is, if you play a C major and you move it up to an inversion and you play E, E is in the chord, but it is the first inversion. Then you move it up to a G chord, a G note, and play a C chord. Now you are playing a second inversion. Now then there becomes a 7th chord where you add the 7th, but if you start on that 7th tone like this, where you would actually look kind of weird sounding, that would be a 3rd inversion. And so, and in music theory, what we used to do is we used to see numbers. For example, we would see a 5, or we would see 4-3 or 4-2. And that meant, these are just numbers, you don't have to know this, but that meant they were different inversions of a chord. See, Johann Sebastian Bach could actually see numbers on a chord and be able to improvise knowing these numbers. I learned this in school. Now, like a 4-2 is a 3rd inversion. Okay, so the point is this. An inversion just means you're playing the chord in a different sequence of notes. That's a certain sequence of notes. Here's a different sequence of the same chord. Here's a different sequence. And then these are all inversions. All it means is the same chord, but starting and using a different note of that chord. Or like this, sorry. Maybe. So I hope that makes sense to you. Now, I just want to say this. Sawtooth has an amazing app because they're part of 3 companies, as a lot of you know that have been watching this. There's GoDPS Live, GoDPS Music, and that is the retail part of Sawtooth. So that's when you order things, you can, a lot of times you order from GoDPS Music. They have an app, GoDPS Music Live. Just go to the App Store, whatever, phone you use, Apple, or not, Android, and go type in GODPS. It will come up. You can download the app for free. We release a really killer version of Holy Diver. Now, somebody said, dude, man, why don't you start doing originals, bro? I'm like, again, here's showing. What are you, an idiot? Vinny Appice is on the original version of Holy Diver. That's his original. Hello? We are doing originals. We just happen to be with the person who wrote these famous songs and played on them. It'd be like telling McCartney, dude, man, you're playing Yesterday, man. Why don't you do some originals? Really? And so then we have Rudy Sarzo on bass. He was with Randy Rhoads during the Ozzy years. So when we do Crazy Train, this is a guy that played Crazy Train with Ozzy. And so we did a whole series of songs where we have Melody, the singer from Lilac. She's a teenager still. She's amazing. She might be 20. She's either 19 or 20. She's fantastic. Anyway, it's, me, Vinny Appice, Rudy Sarzo, and Melody, from the band Liliac. It's a great band. And, some people, when we first posted it, sometimes digital glitches happen. Something happened in the translation where my guitar got out of phase. And then actually, it's a thing called phase cancellation. It actually canceled out a lot of my guitar, and a lot of people were screaming about it. So I alerted the guys at Sawtooth and said, look, we have a problem. And then what happened is that we realized that we did have an issue and we corrected it. It's no big deal. It's not like, oh my God, life is over and we know it. World War III. Yes, shoot them all, kill them all. What? And so the point is that it sounds amazing. So go to the app. Now, I did a little preview here on my page that you can hear our amazing version. But don't say, hey, man, do some originals. These are originals. Vinny Appice played on the original version. We do this song. We do Holy Diver. We do Heaven and Hell. We do Rainbow in the Dark. These are all songs that Vinny was on. The original versions, he played drums. Then we did songs that Rudy played on from the White Snake days and Ozzy. And then we did one of my songs, Call to Arms. We did a Liliac song from Melody, and it's really great song. And so, we are going to be releasing these. Is transposition still being used? Yes, Cynthia, all the time. It's going to be used for the rest of eternity because a transposition, again, it's just a chord played in a different location for lack of a better way of saying it, just a simple way. Like if I played it here and I played, that's pretty close, but if I play here, I play it in different locations, start on different bass notes. That is an inversion. Transposing is something else too, where you transpose a song. Like, say you're in the key of C, but you have a female singer who doesn't like the key. You want to transpose. If I go, a transposition would be this. I want to move that same thing down to B flat. Or I want to transpose it to G. So to transpose something means you take the original key or the key that the music is in and play the exact same piece of music in a different key. That's a transposition or transposing. Anyway, I just want to say this. Sawtooth Guitars rule. Sawtooth amps rule. Sawtooth basses rule. Sawtooth drums rule. And everything that Sawtooth does, value. If you get anything out of this, value. They are amazing. And so, you're hearing this week after week, the relics, and we do things that are new. We do things that are different. We don't follow under other companies. Other companies follow us, and they're trying to figure out how we can pull all this stuff off. It's kind of like playing this crazy riff and everybody sees how you do it, but it's like, well, how can I sound like M.A.B. or how do I sound like Yngwie or how do I sound like this? Everybody has their own way of doing things, but Sawtooth we know how to do it. That's it, bottom line. And please go to my YouTube page. Also, download this app, Go DPS. And it's Go DPS Music, Go DPS Music Live. Somebody mentioned the Sawtooth Double. We are going to be offering a limited edition run of 50 double guitars there. And one of the things that Sawtooth did is during this pandemic, a lot of companies had no guitars. We have the 2021 models. Well, where are they? Why'd you ask that one, man? We ain't selling them. We just got it. We got like a Photoshop version of it, man. It's gonna be really awesome when it comes in, dude. They don't even have the guitars. We have the guitars. We have the meat. We have the guitars. We had them in stock. And so what a novel idea. Boy, you release something and you actually have it. Oh my God. You know how many music companies can't figure that one out? A lot. And I'm not trashing anybody. I'm just saying the reality. It's like during COVID, there's been a lot of shortages, but the Sawtooth people are just smart. They're really smart. And they just saw through all this stuff. So anyway, I want to just say this. I'm Angelo Batio. I'm Joe E. the Shred God, and Robert for Sawtooth, Chromacast, and Go DPS Music. Download the app. Check out our versions of Holy Diver. There's going to be a lot more. We have an MAB band. We released a whole concert. You can watch the whole thing in its entirety or just watch one song at a time. But I can't say enough about Sawtooth. I mean, how many guitar companies have an app? And it's a really killer one. You can get lessons on there taught from me and other people, Vinny, and it's really an incredible company, and they're here to help you and to give you the best value you can for your money. Anyway, see ya.